Cut it, the dealer said, tapping the green felt. Stake or leave? Jay set the knife down. My shadow. The room went quiet. Neon hummed. The dealer smirked like wolves in silk. Then his shadow lifted its head from the floor and whispered, Stay, I'm scared. Jace's chest tightened. He could almost feel the girl's locket against his ribs. Miraz's picture inside, his sister waiting across the border sun. No papers, no chance. This was the only door the city left him. A man in cobalt gloves leaned forward. Rules are simple. Our light, our dice. One throw. You win, you get a passport with heat stamp clearance. You lose, we keep the dark that follows you. He smiled. No refunds. Jace's shadow trembled in the light like oil on water. Please. He swallowed. They all said the night market took things, clean years, songs, names. Shadows, too. He'd seen men walk out bright and wrong, eyes hollow. But he had a promise to keep, and the border guard shot promises on sight. Deal, Jace said. His hand shook only once. They lifted the lamp. It was a harsh sunbulb that made the table sweat and the walls bleed color. The dice were clear with tiny suns burned inside. The dealer with cobalt gloves held them to his ear like shells. Thought of leaving before the curfew bell? He asked. JSCE didn't answer. He focused on the dice. On the way the light skittered off each face. The knife's reflection. The lamp chain's sway. He steadied his breath until the bulb's hum became a clock. His shadow pressed close against his boots. They're wrong light, it whispered. Hungry light? He almost said I know. He almost stepped back. But Miraz's last voice message was in his head. Big brother. Promise you'll come. He couldn't answer that with fear. Throw. Cobalt said. Jace rolled. The dice arc slow through the white glare and hit the felt, tumbled, stopped. Double suns. The table drew in a breath. Someone cursed. Cobalt's smile didn't break, but his eyes did a tiny pinch. Well, he said, clapping twice. Luck loves fools? A woman dealer slid a black envelope across the table. Heat stamped. Border 4, opens once. She leaned close so he could smell the sweet smoke on her breath. Hold it tight in daylight or it screams. He took the envelope. It was heavier than paper should be. Heat tickled his palm. The stamp glowed red, a winged mark he had seen on patrol rifles. His shadow didn't move. Don't open it. He did. Inside lay a passport of thick white fiber, edges gilded. The chip glinted. His stomach lurched. The name on the first page was not J. Sorrel Ash Ravel. His breath snagged. The photo wasn't a photo. It was a moving smear of dark that turned when he turned the page like a person seen through thin smoke. The signature line was a long loop that never ended. Cobalt chuckled. Problem? My name isn't this, Jace said. Another dealer tapped the page with a silver nail. The border isn't a door, she said. It's a sieve. It doesn't care for the meat. It scans the tether. She tilted her head at the floor. You didn't gamble yourself, sweetheart. You gambled who you are? The words hit like ice water. His ghost skin prickled. He looked at the passport again. When his thumb brushed the chip, the little screen flashed a second line. Holder, shadow, number 13, verified escort. None. His shadow flinched. They want me, it breathed. They want me to go alone? The dealer's smirks made new sense. They dressed the prize as a rescue. It was a theft. Jace's heart hammered. He pictured Mara at the glass fence changing colors with the heat, her eyes bright. He pictured himself stepping to the sun gate with a hollow heel, alarms, guns, cold ground. No, he said. Change it. Cobalt's gloves creaked. We don't change physics, kid. Roll again, Jace said. His voice sounded raw. Double or nothing. My breath for his name. Switch the holder. A soft laugh went around the table. Your breath? The woman asked. My years then. He hated how fast he said it. 10, Cobalt echoed. You give 10 years for a lie to fit? It's not a lie. It's my sister. The lamp buzzed louder, like it smelled heat. The dealers looked at each other in that way that meant a price had been found. Cobalt nodded once. We can't switch the holder, he said, but we can bind an escort. Make you almost attached. 2 bodies, 1 tether. He lifted a second black die from his coat. It was matte and drank the light. Beat me with this. You keep your shadow tied while crossing. Miss and the shadow is ours and you lose the 10. He smiled. And maybe we keep your voice for the week. To stop the whining. Jace, the shadow whispered. They want us split. Something waits in the sun that eats things like me. It can't touch you while I'm with you. Everything inside him tilted. He hadn't thought the fear was for itself. He thought it was just afraid of dark. Now another picture came, a white road under noon. A thing like a glass dog tracking only the moving patch of shade beside him. He took the matte die. It was cold as a coin pulled from snow. Throw, Cobalt said. Jace rolled and saw the trick too late. The die didn't tumble. It clung to the felt and crawled, as if the table's weave held tiny teeth. It slapped to a stop on a dead face. No pips, no mark. The dealers laughed. House mark, someone sang. Wait, Jace said. That's not. His shadow moved. For the first time in his life, it peeled from his heels. It rose to the edge of the table like heat off asphalt. The lamp made it thin and sharp. It bent and pressed its palm against the die. Don't, he breathed. We promised, the shadow said, and its voice was small and brave. But I want it to be you. The die flipped. 1 pip burned like a dim star. Silence, then Cobalt's smile cracked for real. Escort bound, the woman said, surprised. It listened to you. The lamp sputtered. Somewhere deeper in the night market, a metal door slammed. He heard shouts, boots, not the soft shoes of dealers. The hard stamp of patrol. Cobalt looked up, annoyed. You brought friends, kid? Jay shook his head. No, the woman's mouth flattened. Sundogs. The word felt like a blade. He pictured those glass hounds again, tongues of heat, noses tuned to tether scents. The dealers started to kill lights fast. Shadows thickened like water. North hatch, Cobalt snapped. He shoved the passport at Jace, then, sharper, pushed the shadow with his shoe. Keep it close or it slips. Jace grabbed the envelope and ran. The hull tilted left, then down. Air smelled like hot wires. He felt the shadow at his heels, tight as a second skin. The noise of claws on tile grew. He didn't look back. At the hatch, a wedge of sun lay like a blade on the floor. His shadow shrieked when it touched that strip. I can't, it said, shaking. Not that. He set his back to the door and held the passport up. The heat stamp glowed, and the metal lock sang open. Outside, the city was white heat and siren. Above, the solar net pulsed like a second sky. 3 steps, he whispered. Stay with me. Miraz waiting. Footfalls turned the corner. Hounds like glass with fire inside slid into view, tails leaving scorch lines. They didn't look at him. They looked only at the darkness clinging to him. The nearest hound lowered its head. Escort detected, a flat voice said. Violation. Jace took the first step into the light. His skin screamed. His shadow, bound to him by that stubborn, single-pip promise, shook and held. The hound launched. Something moved in the glare ahead, tall, bright. A figure with sun-sigil armor and a face Jace knew only from a faded photo on his mother's altar. The figure lifted a hand. The hounds froze like poured glass. Finally, the bright one said, voice raw with relief. Both of you came home. Jace's heart stopped. Mom? The shadow trembled and whispered, very small. If she is your mother. What am I? The bright figure's visor folded back. Eyes the same gray as his own. A soft, stunned smile. You're the part I lost. A siren wailed closer. The heat rose. Jace looked at the sun, the hounds, the woman who might be a ghost, and the black envelope steaming in his hands, and he stepped forward. Want the rest of this story? Follow now so you don't miss part 2.